Welcome to LAPUx Lessons. This podcast is a growing collection of conversations with thought leaders in the online professional development space. Here at LAPU, our award-winning team strives to create world-class online learning experiences that put humanity back into learning. Join us on our journey to innovate in the online classroom and show the world what learning feels like.
This is George Hanshaw, Director of eLearning Operations with the fantastic tech teams, famously known as the Tech Heads. I'm here with Mike, Maya, Grace, Ryan, and Rasha. And the question of the day is we want to find out a little bit more about who you are and what you do. Technology is a big piece of education, especially since a lot of people found out during the pandemic that you can't have online education without some pretty good technology. So what is your role here, and what are your thoughts about technology and education? And just let us know a little bit more about yourself and what you do. So let's start with Mike. Mike, go for it.
All right, I'm Mike Wilday. I'm the Manager of Learning Technology Solutions, and I started here at LAPU just after our launch in October of 2011. Yeah, because this will be 10 years. So I've been here for about 10 years, and over that course of that time, it's been interesting to watch how much technology has been an impact on students and on education in general. And you're right, the pandemic completely turned a lot of universities on their heads because they weren't prepared for the need for technology and even how to manage technology. One of the things I love about Los Angeles Pacific University and our team specifically is our commitment to the student experience. We are diehard at making sure that the student's experience with technology is smooth and easy, and that we take care of as many hurdles as we can, not just with the tools, but also with the content to make sure that they work in unison with each other. And so it's just been great to be a part of this team and to lead these guys in creating awesome courses and making technology meaningful. Technology without purpose is just something you throw away at the end of the next year when the next cool thing comes out. And so when you apply purpose to it and you make it meaningful, it impacts people's lives and it can transform and change their lives. And so our hope is that as we take technology and empower it with purpose, it makes it meaningful to our students and to our faculty and the people who teach and receive from the education we have here at Los Angeles Pacific University.
A couple points you brought up. I just want to kind of focus in on those a little bit and let everybody know that you talked about technology being meaningful and easy to use, and that is such a big deal. If technology is hard to use or not meaningful, just throw it away. It's not doing us any good. And we saw a lot of that through the pandemic. We saw a lot of bad uses of technology for learning in business, universities, K through 12, everywhere. We saw that. We saw some good instances as well, but unfortunately saw some bad ones too.
Yeah, and I think that's one of our goals. So our team takes all of the content that our IDs design, and we construct the courses into our shells using the tools that are provided through our LMS and ones that we come up with and have added on to. But we have a huge focus on user experience. And that comes into our themes, comes into our design process. It comes into why we do what we do, not just doing it because we can or because everyone else is doing it, but determining how it benefits the user and how the user experience is impacted by the process. And so we've over the last 10 years, we've completely revised what we do because we found easier and better ways to serve our students with our tools and our technology. And that's really the goal, is that the student would have a great experience. So
that student-centered focus, that's awesome. So Maya, how do you fit in with all of this, and what are some of your thoughts?
Well, hey everybody, my name is Maya Landrum. I'm the eLearning Development Specialist, and I've had several roles at the university since I've been here for 6 or 7 years now. And now in my role with the Tech Heads, I get to build a lot of the courses and I get to use the technology. And I like to think of our role as we're kind of like a bridge like Mike said, we get to connect the content that we're creating here at the university with our experts to our students. We're building that bridge so our students get that information.
How do we do that using technology? How do we bridge content and the students with technology? That's an awesome visual that you painted there.
Yeah, we use lots of different tools. There's lots of different technologies out there. We use Moodle as our platform to get our information to our students. Wherever our students are, they can get that information, they can learn. And we also try to make it as easy as possible by providing them additional resources and tools like Google. We provide Gmail, we provide all the Google Suite tools.
So I'm noticing a strong pattern here, changing lives and using technology really as a tool for meaningful learning to make a difference with students. And I think we do that so well because of all the deep dives that the tech heads take with technology and making sure that it's something meaningful before we just apply it. So I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna move to Grace, who is our newest tech head, and see, will that theme persist? So Grace, what are your thoughts?
Hi, I'm Grace. I'm also an e-learning development specialist, and I started working here 3 months ago, and so I'm definitely in the learning process of educational technology. And what I do is I construct and build content within Moodle, and what I see is definitely, for me, I graduated with an ed tech master's degree. And during those years, I realized the huge gap, a huge technology gap especially within adults. And I think definitely online teachers or adults are more intimidated with education, with technology. And so I think what we're doing is definitely trying to easily navigate students who in LAPU are, mostly adults. And I think what we're trying to do is bring an attractive appeal to technology. And me working here in LAPU, I notice how much passion we all have to trying to bring students to realize the benefit of technology.
So you're talking about passion and purpose. We've heard a lot about passion and purpose from Mike and Maya as well, and the use of technology to really take it in, and not just our passion and purpose, but to help drive the students' passion and purpose. And do you see that with the courses that you create?
Definitely. I see each course I can see the amount of effort and time that's spent. And I always see the term fluid within our department. And I think it's amazing to see how things are changing every single day because we're just trying to improve for the better. And so every single course is spent with so much effort, and we're always planning together to see what we can do for each individual courses to target those students and to meet those expectations, those learning expectations.
Awesome. So Grace, even though you've been here 3 months, you talk about the fluid environment. You have to be able to work in a fluid environment, especially with technology and so many things coming out, because we use evidence-based stuff and we have to be very aware of what that is. So I think that's very cool. So thank you for that, for continuing that. And then we're going to shift on over to Ryan. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
My name is Ryan Rufener. I am the Senior Instructional Technology Specialist. I've been here with LAPU for 7 years. Some of what I get to do is kind of fix things and make things continue to keep working. I help support Mike in managing our LMS. Really, we do just all the different things that are required for the learning for our students, whether it's keeping our tools running or supporting our faculty. But really what I get to do a lot is fix things. And I think it's important that you have creators in your team, people that imagine and create things from nothing and build things that are just people's dreams. But then you also need people that can maintain and fix things. And so that's kind of what I get to be a part of in this team, is I get to help fix things when they're broken. I get to restore things when they aren't working quite as well as they should be, or come up with new ideas about how to do a process. Maybe we aren't doing things the most efficient, or maybe we aren't doing things the most effective. So I get to be a part of that. And so my perspective might be a little different because I'm on the back end of most things. But I get the pleasure of supporting our faculty and making them feel like their voices are heard when there's issues, and helping support them with quality support. I get to work with other team members. Yeah, it's just it's a great opportunity to use my skills and my gifts to build up this team, and to use them in my job and use them throughout my day.
That's cool. You brought up a really big point, that the support is huge, because if things aren't working, nobody's learning. It's a horrible experience. But the point that I really think that you brought up was learning. It takes faculty, it takes the tech tools, and it takes the designers. It takes a whole team of people to create learning for that student and to really foster their success and their performance within the classroom. And the tech team touches every single part of that. Yeah,
that's right, George. Yeah, I mean, you can have great content, but if you can't display it in a functioning system, then you kind of have nothing. So,
right? Yeah,
so
that's what you got nothing. Yeah.
So it's important. Yeah, it's important that we have all the pieces, and so I'm glad that I get to be a part of that as well.
And then I'm going to pass this off to Rasha, who came up with our latest intervention, whatever you want to call it, which was the Professor Corner and the Student Corner, where we were looking at creating even more community for learning. Rasha, who are you and what are your thoughts?
Hi, my name is Racha Chakbazof. I'm an instructional technologist specialist. I have been with LAPU for 4 years. So yes, George, you talked about the professor corner and student corner. So one thing that we do in this team is in the entire university is to make sure that we have a great student experience. Student in online setting, usually what they miss is interaction, communication, feeling that they aren't alone when they, like them and the screen. So they want to feel this a human touch, and adding this professor channel and student channel will make them feel that they aren't alone, they aren't isolated. One part of that, because the university does a lot of things to support them in this direction as well. Being able to communicate via video calls with their instructor, being able to have those coffee time with their friend, to schedule like a study group or something, so they can feel, like the human touch. That was something we all agreed on, and we all work together to make those corner happens, and hopefully that our students are enjoying them and using them. Another thing I do in this team is making sure that all our courses are adhering to best practices, because the quality for us mean trust, like student trusted their future with us. So quality is very important, that we're delivering quality products. And having consistency and quality doesn't mean that we don't update and upgrade. So we always updating those best practices to give the students the best experience that we can do with all the technology and expertise we have in our team. Something I like always to say when for final, like for customer or student, when they have something simple, that means that it's a lot of work, because simplicity, when you give a very clear and simple thing to use and functional, that means that our team spend lots of hours thinking how to make it happen, and did a lot of work behind the scene. So I really value, like, every one of us really think about creating a better student experience, and they don't mind taking this extra miles, not 1 mile, extra miles to make everything functional and easy from a student perspective. So yes.
Amen to that. Simple is difficult to create. It's easy to make something complex and hard to function, for the students. But to make that thing that's simple and meaningful and powerful, that there's a lot of effort behind that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, and I'm glad to be part of a team that always think, like that student come first, and enhancing the student experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is an award-winning team because Mike, your project won a Silver Omni Award, I believe, and it was based on troubleshooting technical issues, which was kind of cool. So even the tech team is an award-winning team with the Silver Omni Award. That's a big deal.
I've been blessed to be able to dabble in all different realms of our larger teams capacity, both with doing some ID work as well as doing a lot of instructional media creation. So I was able to win an award for us for a course where they were doing troubleshooting a computer that had a virus, and they got to kind of see that firsthand and solve it and figure out what was going on. And it's kind of a fun little experiment that won us some accolades.
And that was so cool because it was using technology to help people gain technology skills. So it just it fit in so many different ways that it's ridiculous.
So true. So true. Awesome.
All right. So let's have some fun. Rasha, we're going to start with you, and I'm going to work backwards from the way that I just went. So in 20 seconds or less, so we'll call this our speed round. What advice would you give someone who is looking at technology to put into a classroom? Or you could just tell us your advice for technology in general for learning.
Yeah, I think I'm going to focus about the simplicity. So it's, just make it usable from a student experience. You always have to look, we're in tech team, we have, technology skills, but you always have to look at from a student, experience, like how this can be used in an easy way and, not complex way and not require tons of training.
Awesome. Ryan, what are your thoughts?
I think it's important that you get technologies that work with your systems. Make sure the things that you want to talk to each other can actually do that. Maybe demo things. Make sure that everything is operational. Don't just pick the tool that somebody else wants, but pick the tool that works best for your situation. I think is probably whatever that is. Just make sure that you also maybe get some connections to maybe other customers, find out their actual user experience, and don't just trust the salesperson.
Nice. Grace, how about yourself?
I would say to explore different types of softwares or tools, just like what Ryan was saying. Don't just stick with one, but, just explore and see, it's okay to make mistakes. I think that's what the beauty of it is you learn from it. And so just explore and have like a good foundation. For me personally, because I just started working here, I think it's great to have like a good foundational basics of what so for me, it would be like coding or what the basic foundation of Moodle is, the software. So there are different resources out there. I use Coursera, or Mike gave me a link to LinkedIn, just kind of like study on your own time and explore.
All right. So Rasha, Ryan, and Grace, that's some wonderful advice so far. Maya, what would you say? How would you add to this?
Sustainability. Make sure that the product lasts, it's easy to update over time, and it works.
Make sure it works. That's huge, right? Because if it doesn't, everybody's frustrated. All right. So Mike, so you get the last word here. So what are your thoughts?
Oh man, I agree with everything everyone said. In adopting new tools, pilot whenever possible. Piloting allows for user testing. You'll get feedback from the people who actually are using the product, and test those different tools out. Make sure they really support your goals and your purposes and the students themselves and their goal of learning. And if the tools become a hindrance, then that's a problem. So pilot whenever possible, user test, make sure you get in there and that it is a sustainable process for your team, so it doesn't create more burden on your own workload.
Hopefully this has been very enlightening for anyone listening in and looking for technology for different learning purposes, whatever that may be, whatever fits you. So we appreciate you tuning in and listening to the Tech Heads award-winning technical team here at LAPU. And this is what learning feels like.
Thank you for listening to this episode of LAPUx Lessons. We hope you learned something today. And if you did, please take a few seconds to review our podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. Your feedback helps us in so many ways. We would also love to connect with you on social media. You can find all of our channels listed in the show description. Before you go, we want to invite you to visit x.lapu.edu to see the courses that we have available. Check back often as we are always developing new offerings. Or you can subscribe to this podcast where we will announce and feature new courses as they become available. That's it for this episode. So remember, this is what learning feels like.